Please like this video and subscribe to our channel. This is the Central Florida Computer Society Windows Special Interest Group, or WinSIG, for Sunday, November 14th, 2021. I'm Hewie Poplock. We have a nice group of, right now it's 60 and still growing for the day. We have a big day planned for you. We're going to talk about Windows 11. We've got a special speaker and he's going to do a demonstration. If we have some time, I've got a couple other items ready. And then after that, the main CFCS meeting will be on the same connection. And Mike Ungerman's going to be talking about browsers and security, and then specifically the Brave browser and all of its security settings as well. So that's coming up this afternoon. And I welcome you to the CFCS WinSIG meeting. As I said, I'm Hewie Poplock. I see several familiar faces. I see several familiar names where your faces aren't showing. And as I usually do, let's go back and look at my website. This is my website. And if we come up here to the WinSIG, you will see the topics that I have here. And then just below that, I will post the recording like I did for last month. Here are all the items that I had scheduled. And then right under it is a link to the recording for October. We go down with their September and all of the items and links to all of the articles for those items. And there's the recording for it and so on. And I've got the entire year. And I did have previous years also, but when I created my new website, I did not move all of those over because I knew it was going to be a lot of work. And I don't think we really needed to look at information about Windows 7 or Windows 8.1 that was 7 or 8 years old. So I tried to make it easier on myself. So the first item today is going to be what's new, and then a live demo from Bill James. I'll introduce him in just a moment. I do have some other articles here that we may not get to today. And that doesn't mean you can't go look at them. And I think there's some articles that might be of interest and of benefit to you. Why marketers picture as seniors is getting old. 5 bits of information that actually make your life better. Windows 11 problems and solutions. End of support for OneDrive. And Bob G's going to be talking about that on Tech for Seniors tomorrow. And I also have an item in my blog on this same website on that item. Then the Microsoft announces the Windows 11 SE, the 10 best Windows File Explorer alternatives. I used to use Norton Commander many years ago, and I believe one of its replacements is suggested there, as well as some others. There was another one that started with an X that I can't remember the name of it. But anyway, those are in that article. And 5 warning signs your SSD is about to break down and fail. And then the best tech gifts. If you're looking for some tech gifts between $100 and $200 for friends or family, they must be pretty good friends for $100. But there's some good items there that we might want to talk about if we have time. But what I would like to do is get on to introducing our special guest today. Bill James did a presentation, and I can't remember whether it was for a group or it was for APCUG on Windows 11 shortly after it was released. He did such a good job of it. I said, well, I can't match that. So what I'm going to do is invite Bill to do it again. I did one about 2 months ago on what was coming. Excuse me, hang on a minute. I'm glad I got Bill set up to do it today. No. Hang on 1 minute here. Got my cough drops here. I'm going to mute everybody, and then Bill, you'll have to unmute yourself, but I want to make sure everybody's muted. So I'm just
all right, no problem. Thank you.
And so you can unmute yourself. So anyway, Bill did this presentation I thought was so good and so thorough that I didn't want to try to duplicate it, because the hardest part about doing presentations for user groups and for special interest groups and for the presentations that a lot of us do, the hardest part is putting it together. Doing the actual presentation, we've gone over it. We've got the slides all done. Sometimes we read parts of it, and then we've got some notes on where to go and what to do. So it doesn't always work the way we want, but it falls into place a little bit. So the hardest part is putting it all together. And since Bill already did that, I asked Bill if he would do it again for us here, and he has agreed to do so. Bill is on APCUG as a member of the Board of Advisors, and has been for several years. He's involved in very heavily in APCUG. He does a lot of presentations for the Speakers Bureau, does a lot of presentations for their Wednesday meetings. Bill's also involved with the Oklahoma City, the Computer Club of Oklahoma City, and is quite active in that group and does a lot of presentations for them and all the support he does for them. So he's a pretty busy guy. So I thank him for taking his time today to do this presentation and demo. Bill, do you want them to hold questions or put them in the chat box, and then probably Mike and I will monitor that for you, or do you want to wait, do your presentation?
It really doesn't matter, Hewie. It's going to be live. I got a little preview slide that I threw together, which is not really relevant to our topic, but I thought it was kind of fun to just go through. But if they want to ask questions, we can stop and do that. It's going to be live.
Okay. All right. So I am going to mute myself, take a cough drop, and I'm going to turn it over to Bill. And Bill, you can share your screen or do whatever you need.
Huey, thank you very much for that introduction, and it's a pleasure to be able to give this presentation this evening, this afternoon, rather. I want to say that Windows 11 is installed on this particular machine. It is a HP all-in-one. It has an i5 processor and 12 gigs of RAM for those people that are just curious about what the hardware we're using. But anyway, I thought this was kind of fun. You know, we take a trip down memory lane. For me, it all started in '81 with MS-DOS. I was probably not very much interested in computers at the time. But over a period of times, I have upgraded to every version of Windows almost immediately after they came out. So I'm not really fearful about upgrading. And what I did in this instance, this machine that I have is probably 6 months old. It was capable of being upgraded to Windows 11. I got the notification and that says you can upgrade, and I did so. So I didn't do any kind of prep for it. I just ran it as a regular Windows update. But anyway, this is just kind of a trip down memory lane of things that I kind of remember, and I thought maybe you all might be interested in seeing those. But this is Windows 11, and this is the part that's so different. And so we're going to go over a lot of this, and I'll take you through the different things I noticed that have changed. And then you can ask questions along the way. So as people know that you can upgrade from to Windows 11 from 10, 7, 8, and 8.1. And if your computer is capable, it'll show up in Windows Update. And if you do like I did, I just updated as I ran a regular Windows Update. It is optional. You do have the it'll just sit there till you decide that you want to install it. So this is what you're seeing. Upgrade to Windows 11 is ready. It's free. Download and install. So I just followed those steps, and that's really all I did. All right, so let's just get to the demo. I'll get out of this PowerPoint slide. And this is the screen as my desktop. And I have a little script here I'm going to be going through. So the design of Windows 11, they're calling it Microsoft Design Language. It was previously known as Metro. And it's created by Microsoft. And it's focused on the topography and simplified icons, absence of clutter, increased content to Chrome ratio. And what that means is content before Chrome, and basic geometric shapes, UI elements such as buttons, menus, and other widgets and desktops. And I didn't realize when they speak of Chrome, we're not talking about the Chrome browser. We're talking about the little attributes that that are part of Windows, how they're particularly designed, the simplicity or the just the look and feel of the whole operating system, and that's referred to as Chrome, which I thought was kind of interesting. So you're going to find new icons. As you can see, there's some of them have been redesigned quite a bit. Rounded corners has been a big deal. And of course, the taskbar. And as you can see, the taskbar is centered. And at this time, this is its primary location. You can, though, move it to.
We can't see the taskbar on your screen. We see your. Well, no, it's because.
Can you see my taskbar?
I see his taskbar.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm not seeing it.
I've got the controls for my Zoom.
I don't see it.
It's there at the bottom of the screen if you've got it in
Correct.
full screen mode.
If
I
you
see
have,
it too.
The problem with my have is that I've got my Zoom controls are hiding it. I'm not sure how I had.
come off of full screen mode and move it up a little bit, you should see it at the bottom.
Yeah, I see it there.
Okay,
Thanks.
everyone can see it. Well, anyway, the taskbar here is in the center, and at this at the introduction, this is its primary place. Now it can be moved, and how that's done is you right click on the taskbar blank space, you'll see Taskbar Settings, and so when you click that, you'll get the settings for the taskbar. Can everyone see that? Is that clear for everybody, or do I need to make it larger?
I think you're good to go.
All right. So what I'll do is scroll down to an area that says Taskbar Behaviors. Click there. And if you notice here, it says Taskbar Alignment. Currently, it's set for center. I can do the drop down and I can move it to the left. And then, as you can see, it then moves to the left in the a manner that you're probably more familiar with. My preference right now is to leave it in the center. You also can still automatically hide the taskbar like you did in the past. Also, you can customize it to let the badges show. And when we say badges, as you see right here, you can see the little bubble that's circling around your phone. Every time there is any new content in that particular application, that little bubble will show. So for instance, if you get new emails, it'll show you the number of emails that you received. And that's done because this little, this is checked to show badges for unread messages on Counter on Taskbar apps. Also, the taskbar still has the capability of hiding your desktop, and you do that by saying select the far corner of the taskbar to show the desktop. As you remember, that little sliver, when you move your mouse to the very edge of your taskbar, it will say show desktop. When you click that, of course, it will go away. And then, of course, you click it, it comes back. If you have that unchecked, you will not see that. Now, the taskbar is still segmented in two parts. On the far right side, we have what is called, they've renamed that to be called Taskbar Corner. Now, so you have to remember that term, because in your settings, you'll see that as being Taskbar Corner. But anyway, this is where your icons are for the different functions of your computer. And also, you still see the area which has the overflow. And then as you go further over weather date time, when you click there, you will get the calendar as well as any notifications that you may have received. That part is still hasn't much changed from Windows 10. So the crown jewel, I think, of Windows 11, in my opinion, is a new start menu. I really like this. So when I click here, I now have all my apps. These were all formerly located in tiles on Windows 10. They're now up front and center. And they you can scroll through them very much like you do on your phones these days. You notice on the right side, you see the number of dots. And then you're also a little arrow that says next page. So you can go through the pages. So this could expand to any number of pages, depends on how many that apps that you want to pin here. But it makes it really convenient to be able to see the apps that you use frequently that can pop up. You also can move these icons around. It's like I have the settings up front and center, and I have edge. But if I wanted to move my to-do list here, I could do that very easily by just moving it. To get to all apps that are on your computer, you'll want to click here where it says all apps, and then this will bring all the applications that you have installed. If you want to add them to your start menu, it's done the same way as it was in the past. You just right click on a item and click on pin to start. If you want to pin it to your taskbar, you have to go to the more, and you then pin to taskbar or run as administrator or open file location. This is unchanged for Windows 10.
Bill, we have a couple of questions.
Yes.
Okay. First, the start menu. Let's see. Oh, let's go back up a little higher. Donna asked, I set up a new computer and it loaded 11 automatically. I would have preferred Windows 10. What's the best way to get back to Windows 10?
Well, it depends on when if you did it just recently, you have 10 days to revert back to a Windows 10 if it was already installed on the computer. So you can, within that 10-day time frame, you can revert back to Windows 10. If you're beyond that, then you're going to have to do, I think, a complete install.
Okay, and let's see. The start menu, can you expand it to use more screen and have more icons without having to scroll?
No. This is the size that it is designed for. The only option, of course, is just adding additional pages. Now, if you want to get to something quickly, you can still do as you did in the past by just typing in Word, if I type correctly. and then it will show up as it did in the past, and you can just click on it in that way.
Okay, and then somebody asked, Bill asked, is the blue photos icon for Google Photos? I'm not sure where he's looking at that. Probably in your menu
Let's see.
or in your start screen.
Just type photos and see if that
I'm
works.
saying, oh, this icon here, that is the Windows Photos. Is that what you mean? Because Google Photos will have the Google photo icon.
That's going to be confusing.
Nothing new.
Well, that
Always been that way.
Photos was there before in the old one as well.
It was before there,
Google-
before Google Photos.
Yep.
Pardon?
It was probably there before Google Photos.
Yeah, Google Photos is which I have. It'll be this icon here. But this this icon was the one that's always been with Windows. I don't know if that answers your question or not, but yeah, that's the icon for Windows Photos.
Remember, you're on a Windows computer. You're not on a Chromebook. On a Chromebook, you'd have the icon for Google Photos.
Correct.
And on a MacBook, it may be for Mac Photos.
That's correct.
Correct. Any other questions, Hewie?
Yeah, it helps if I'm not muted. Steve asks, can you install Windows Win 11 on C:/sys drive without it altering your D data drive?
Yes.
I would say, yeah. I
would
also
say-
yes.
I would
That's what I
agree.
did.
Yes.
Did I have the microphone turned on or off when I said the Geeks on Tour said that Google Photos is not software on the computer? And then Tim says MS Photos is a new enhanced version of and it's coming to Windows 10. Okay, Bill, back to you.
All right. Okay. So our start menu has several sections. We talked about what was pinned, and then below we find what's referred to as recommended, but these are actually recent applications that you have used. And then below that, where you see your name, this is where your account settings are. Click on that and you'll find where you can change your account settings. You can lock the screen and you can sign out. And to the right of that is the power button, which has your sleep, shutdown, and restart. This more button will take you to more recommended items. And actually, these are just really recent, in my opinion. I'm not sure why it's labeled recommended. And of course, typically to get back, you just use the back button to take you back to the main screen.
And Bill, if you don't want these to appear, you can actually turn these off and
You
not.
can delete those. You can right click and unpin them from start, just as you did in the past. So you can change this however you want. There's icons there that you, now what it will do, it's going to put all the icons that you had on your previous start menu here. The ones that were in the tiles will be here. it's going to replicate everything that you had in your old start menu. It'll just be arranged differently. But the ones that you don't want, you can just right click and in this case, move it to the top, unpin or uninstall it. So the biggest, another big change is the settings app. And of course, when you click it, you'll find it has been extensively revised. Where in the old one, and I have a, just for comparison, I think I have a slide here I'll show you. Well, let's screenshot. I had a screenshot I was going to show you of the old Windows settings menu. If you recall, everything was in little boxes, and these have been placed to a list on the left side. And then that breaks out to the different categories such as display, sound, etc. And then that further, say for instance, if I want to make a change to display, if I click here, it gives me either more options that I can go to. So I found this to be really handy as far as being able to find things I really wanted. And then likewise, you can have, it gives the breadcrumbs where you can get back to where you were before. Like right now I'm in display. If I want to go back to system, I just click here and that takes me back to the main menu for that particular category. If I wanted to, say for instance, if I want to do something with my printers, I go here to Bluetooth and devices, and then I could go here to printers and scanners, and then it would show me all the printers that I have installed on my computer, so are attached to my computer. So if I wanted to do something with the LaserJet Pro here, I would just click here, and then I can do these various things, including running the troubleshooter, etc. And then when I want to go back, I just click on Bluetooth and devices, and it takes me back to where I was before. I can do personalization. It gives me for the background, colors, etc. All these are really laid out in a pretty logical manner, in my opinion, which makes it very easy to do any kind of changes to your computer. Now, of course, if you're still set for the control panel is still available. You can just type Prepare Control Panel, and your old control panel will be front and center. So it's still there. I very seldom ever use this anymore. I just find it a lot handier to use this. I've got myself really familiar with using the settings menu.
If I could share my screen, I could just show you the old Windows panel if you want.
That's fine.
I don't know if that's sharing. Is that on?
Hewie?
let's see, you don't have access to do that. And
Okay.
if you could just hold on, I think most
Yeah.
of us that have
Yeah,
10.
I think everybody knows what the old one looks like.
Okay, and I will just say that the new one is a lot easier to find. A lot of the more obscure things is a heck of a lot easier with the new control, with the new start menu. That's for sure.
I totally agree.
Yeah, Bill, there's a couple of questions. One I'd like to defer to later, and that was Carl asked, you lost me when you said that Microsoft references to Chrome was not referring to the Chrome browser. Let's talk about that later if we can remember to do so.
Right.
Bill H did say, may we rename icons such as Google Chrome, Windows Photos, Google Photos, and so on. Can you rename the icons, in other words?
I don't believe you can. At least I haven't found that you can. We can surely look and see. Let's go back.
Go into properties for the item and you
Yeah,
should be
go
able
here.
to in
And
properties.
then open. No, wait, hold on a second. Find one. This is. I'm not sure if I know how to, you probably have to do that in File Manager. I mean, in File Explorer. Is that where you would do it, Bob?
Well, it depends on what you're trying to rename. If it's something
Right.
that Microsoft set up, such as apps, you won't be able to change that.
And I
But
think that was,
if it's something within those apps, then that's a different thing. It's an
Yeah, but-
individual thing.
Yeah, but the shortcut, you probably can change the shortcut name.
Yes.
right. I believe what he was referring to was actually these like photos. He wants to rename this. And I don't think you can do that.
No.
No, but Jolin says, I know you can change the names of desktop icon shortcuts. Not sure about individual properties of a program or an app icon.
Correct.
So I think she agrees with us.
Right. And I can show you, if you want to move these to your desktop, I can show you how to do that in a few minutes. All right. As I said, the control panel is still there, and you can get there. The other change that you will notice, which was more sterling, was the fact that File Explorer is now, it no longer has a ribbon as it did in the past. It's now been simplified to just a few icons. So although all the functionality is still there, say for instance, if I want to look at a particular file here, when I click on it, you'll notice the icons will, the icon will when I select it, it will light up to that particular, to show you what you can do on that particular one. If I stop doing this. And what you have here is, see if I can get one to go here to documents. And we'll just select this. Now you notice that I now have cut, copy, rename, share, delete. Those are all things I can do with that particular file. And they're the ones that are just mostly you commonly use. You also can do the sort as you could before. And then this is where you can change the view of this particular pane, where it was to show large icons, medium icons, etc. And then, of course, the ellipses is going to allow you to do more. And now you have compress, copy path, select, etc. But most of the common things you do are now located here in this toolbar rather than having a ribbon. Now, the other thing which is new is that when you right click on a file, you get a new context menu where you also have these most common used functions at the top. You have the cut, you have the copy, the rename, the share, and the delete. And then these are no longer found in this list. They're now icons that are at the top of these of the context menu. And then if you need to go, and then again, there are more options. If you go here, you'll find you now have the other things that you can do. But this looks kind of like the old menu before they redesigned it to this new one. I hope I explained that properly. But anyway, as you can see, when you right click, this list has changed. Most of the common ones are here at the top, and then the other ones that are not used frequently are here. But then if you want to get to the old, show the old menu type, if you click on more options, you'll get the complete list.
Also, you might want to point out, Bill, or I'll point out, you have the choice of either the light mode or the dark mode, and you're in dark mode. So the
Right.
background to the screen is dark. Some of us stay in the light mode, it will look different. And
Right.
so
And
it's not changed for everybody. You can make a choice of how you want it to be. I believe you can do that in Windows 10 as well.
right. And personalization, I should have pointed that out when I was in the settings menu. And I'll go back and do that real quick. In the settings menu, if you go, and I use the dark setting because for me, it looks, I can see it better, but that's a personal preference. So if you're under the display, if you go down to, I'm sorry, I think it's personalization, pardon me. Under colors is where you can choose the dark or light mode. Choose mode and see it's in dark. If I go here, it's there's light. And that's what it looks like. But for me, it looks really washed out. That's just my preference. All right.
Dark mode is also better if you're using a battery. It uses less than the light mode. Yep.
Exactly. That's a true statement. Thanks, Bob. So the other thing that you can, I think that's about all that's different about File Explorer. Now, there are some things that are interesting in applications when you launch an application. let's do a document here. Is that, say for instance, when I bring this up and I go here and hover over the, which used to be the maximize, minimize button, you'll see now it has some additional features. And one of those is the ability to be able to change the location of a app on your screen. So say for instance, if I want Wikipedia to be on the left side, I'm just going to click here and it immediately goes to the left. And then I can bring up any other application I want just by clicking on it, and it'll fill in that space. If I want to change it to like a 3-pane, I can do the same thing by clicking here. And now I have it divided into thirds. I can take Wikipedia, I can then take settings. So then I now have the ability to work on 3 different applications on the same screen. And then of course you can close it out the same way as you did in the past, just click on it.
Yeah, that's a big change, but boy, it's a nice change, I think.
It really is. And it also is a lot easier than trying to swipe them to the left and to the right, and move your mouse to make them in the configuration that you really wanted. So I hope I didn't. And that works on all applications.
Actually go up to 4 different windows, correct?
Yes, at least that many. Let's see. Yeah, you have you have 6 different
6, yeah.
6 different configurations that you can use.
Is that per screen?
That's per application.
Windowed.
Per application. So whatever application you have up, you can then format the layout however you want. When you click on it, when you hover over it, if you want, say you want this, you'll put it in the lower right-hand corner, and then you can go to another application and put it there. So you just you can play with it however you want and be able to arrange your apps however you want to view them.
Bill, Judy asked, can I use that view option to view 2 separate Excel files at the same time?
Sure. So what you would do is that you have to run 2 instances of Excel, and we could do that. So I don't want to show that, but so if I wanted to bring this up, then I would.
Probably not a good one either.
Yeah, probably not a good one either.
We just put a couple blank ones up.
All right. So here, I'm going to do that. And then if I want to run another instance of Excel, I would oops. There. Takes a bit of clicking, but I think it's still new to me, and so I make mistakes. But once you get the hang of it, you can do it fairly quick and easy.
This can be done, of course, in Windows 10, but you've got to do it manually.
Right, you just you just slide them from left to right.
I use the Windows key and then the left, right, or up and down wherever I
Yeah.
want it.
But this is
That's the
so,
other,
this is so
that
much
would-
easier.
that would be the other method, yes. And in that same vein, virtual desktops are still there too. And it's now called, by just clicking on this little icon here on your taskbar, and you have desktop 1 and desktop 2. So you can run two versions of Excel in this manner as well. So that's one desktop. And this is my other desktop. So now I have two different instances of Excel on two different desktops. Excuse me.
Bill's pooch is not very happy.
That's George Washington.
Yep.
All right, so I think I probably showed just about everything that is noticeably new and different, but we can open it up for some questions, Hewie, if you like.
Okay. I don't see any additional, but there was some comments about a virtual box on Windows 10, and I really don't want to, I don't think it fits into this discussion. So I'm, if you're interested in it, take a look.
Yeah,
at the chat
I'm
box.
running this version of Windows 11 on my machine I use every day, and so far I have not found any real concerns other than the fact that things are moved differently. It's not that much different from Windows 10. Other than the fact that the new version, if your computer is capable, you have a lot more security features that have been baked in. It's like secure boot and the TPM module. All those things are designed to have a more secure computer, because it utilizes those hardware features that have been a part of computers probably since 2015, 16, and Windows have just not utilized them. But I also found that some of the browsers, Firefox in particular, uses the TPM module to a certain extent if it's there. So that's just something that you can.
Challenge has her hand up.
And there's some more questions in the chat box. So,
Just real quick, just
go ahead,
really
Val.
quickly, Bill, I just wanted to say thank you. I watched a couple of different, I saw an earlier one that Hewie did and some that we've done at our, at Hilton Head Island Computer Club. And every time I learn something a little bit more about Windows 11, I just want to say thanks.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Joe asked, how long was the install? How long did it take?
For this computer, I think it was probably under an hour, probably 45 minutes to an hour. I was running as a regular update. And so all my files and folders and everything were just as they were before. And I didn't have to go and reinstall anything.
Okay, and Tim asks or says, on settings, the last two items on the left panel have the biggest changes.
Uh,
I guess he means privacy and security and Windows Update. I don't know what he means.
yeah, all,
That's correct. Privacy and security and Windows Update have the most dramatic changes from 10.
in what way? They have more, I mean,
You have a lot of changes there that move from the Windows Update panel and a few other areas.
okay, this is Windows Update.
That's all you
Uh,
get.
Yeah, I don't remember that
If you
being
look
any-
at 10, there's a whole list of things under Windows Update in 10. They're now under privacy and security.
Oh, okay, I follow you.
A lot of
I
things,
follow.
a lot of things to look over and check to make yourself quite
Yeah, I guess I really didn't notice that
sure.
very much, but yeah, I see what you're saying.
And these might be some future Windows SIG meetings and in your and other user groups that are on here. You might want to look at some of the privacy settings. Just take a group of them in different meetings and go through them one by one and talk about the items. I think most people don't do that on their own. And if we do
Right.
it at a meeting, they might see some things that, oh, I probably ought to change that.
Well, you know, the thing that's interesting is that since I use Windows Security, which is the built-in antivirus and malware and all that business, I only go there unless I see something that has popped up that says there's an issue. So I probably hadn't even noticed that.
Okay, we're getting some more comments here before they go off the screen here. John Samuel says, recommend WinArrow, WINAERO, if you don't like a particular setting. Also, the old widgets mostly don't work.
Well, the widgets is here, and this is what the ones that I probably had on my old computer. Again, I'm not too much into that. The weather widget, and this is stock. This is the photo of the day. The sports, top news items.
Yeah, I know. I was really talking about the ones that people used ever since Win 7. They're the ones you can actually put on your desktop, not ones that pop up.
Oh, okay. Oh, if you want to, like if that brings up another issue. You notice I have a clean desktop because I just don't like having a bunch of icons on my desktop. If I did, it would look like this. Let's see. It would look like this rather.
You
know,
and show
desktop icons. I'm
Right.
sorry. Thank you. Okay. So I don't like that clutter. But if you want to have, if you have something that you want to move from your app screen to the desktop, you do it the same way as you did before. Just drag it over. Well, that didn't do it. Hold on a second. Make sure I remember how to do this.
You probably already have it there.
it's already there.
Yeah, let's see. Maybe I can move settings there. Let's see if it does. No, it doesn't. Normally, it will show a link. I did it other day.
Right click maybe?
No, It's not that. Let's see. Hold on. I think you have to do it from the app screen. In fact, I know you do. So you can take this and drag it and see, then it becomes a link. And then you can move it to your desktop, but you have to do it from the app, from the all app screen. You can't do it from the pin. If it's already pinned here, it will not move to the desktop. You have to go to all apps and then drag it, and then it'll link. And see, it comes there, and then you can move.
And by link, it means it's a shortcut.
Yeah, it's a shortcut.
Okay, let's see what else we got here. Colin says a lot more options. Joe says, thanks for your presentation, easy to follow. Is there an open shell version for Windows 11?
Open shell version.
Yeah, I don't use open shell, so I couldn't tell you.
The only thing that's new, there's a different version of Windows 11, which Hewie is going to talk about later, and that's this Windows, what they're calling it. It's a light version, actually, which will be used for
The SE.
laptops.
SE. Yeah.
SE.
There was a version of Classic Shell that then became Open Shell, and it allowed you to do some of the shell functions that you don't normally have.
Oh, you're talking about, well, you can.
It's similar to that Arrow and Wing Tweaker and those sort of things.
That's for people who want to use 11 and make it look like Windows 7. And I'm a firm believer, if you're going to install Windows 11, use Windows 11. If you want it to be Windows 7, stay with Windows 7. But that's my own personal belief, you know.
Yeah, with the open shell, you can get the best of the most and get rid of the crap you don't want.
Crap's still there. Just because you're hiding it doesn't mean it's gone.
No, it's actually gone on mine. I got rid of the OneDrive and I got rid of all the other garbage I didn't want, like the sugar plum cookie game crap. I didn't want any of that.
Those are games. You uninstall them.
Yeah, but they'll still be there though, unless you get rid of them completely.
Uninstall them.
Geeks on Poop says, since I've been using Windows 11, I've been getting notices to install web apps for things that I normally go to a web page. For example, Google Chat and Google Photos. Does anyone have a good definition of web apps?
You're running it as a program instead of an web application.
Yeah.
And you control it more that way than you would through the internet, through the web app itself, or through the web itself. It actually becomes something you control as a program.
No, I haven't received any of those kinds of notifications. Like I said, Windows 11 is running exactly like Windows 10. Matter of fact, other than having the toolbar in the center and the difference in the settings, I really don't notice that I'm running the Windows 11 machine. It's quick, it's fast. I mean, it really boots up really quickly. You just don't, you'll be amazed how fast it works.
Well, Walter said, I just got my wife a new laptop with Windows 10S. I upgraded to Win 11, which went very quickly. I then switched from S to Home, and that only took a few seconds.
Okay.
The Windows S is different than the Windows SE
Yes.
that I referred to and you referred to.
Windows S only allows you to use applications that are found in the Windows Store, where the new one, this one they released recently, doesn't have that restriction.
I don't see
Well,
any.
11 SE is Microsoft's latest challenge to Chromebook style, which is just apps running on a Chrome browser per se. And basically that's what SE is going to do.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in just a few minutes after
Yeah,
Bill finishes, if we have time. Because there are some other things that it doesn't do the same. All right, Bill, thank you so much.
you're welcome. I hope that I covered everybody's concerns, but like I said, if you have a machine that it's capable of running on, I see no issues just installing it as a Windows update.
You're muted, Huey.
Yeah, I see that. Judy says, great overview. Thanks, Bill. And then Murray wanted to know on SE, but we'll cover that in just a few minutes.
Right,
Bill, if you want to go ahead and unshare.
I will.
And I do want to, again, thank you so much. I thought that was a lot easier than I would have gone through. I have not upgraded yet. I do have the little blue dot down at the bottom. It says it's upgrade to Windows 11 is ready for your PC. And before I do that, I have my latest version of Acronis's backup. I will do an image backup of my entire computer. Not that I expect anything to go wrong, but the computer knows when you're not backed up. And so my recommendation at all times is it'll only fail as if you're not backed up.
Right. And I have to admit, Huey's correct, but since I relies heavily on OneDrive, all my files and folders are cloud-based. I don't have anything stored on my hard drive per se, and run everything in that manner. I'm not really too concerned about having a disk backup. So that's just my my method of madness.
Well, let me just share my screen for a moment here. And let's see. I don't know if you can see it or not. My local disk is 3.63 terabytes, and I've got about 2 1/3 left. So I'm using about what, a terabyte and about close to
Yeah.
terabyte and a half I'm using. So I do have a lot of data on my local drive, but I do have everything backed up in iDrive and OneDrive and Box, and I got things stored all over the place. If I had to recreate it and get everything back, I'd have to figure out where I got all these things stored. But OneDrive, I do back up. That backs up every night at 11 o'clock. Anything that's updated. So I do have on my OneDrive, I've got almost all of my data folders being backed up on a regular basis. Murray, you have your hand up.
Yeah, I just was going to say on the comment on the upgrading to Windows 11, no reason not to. That is, unless you're using VirtualBox or some of those features of Windows that I had on Windows 10 that are broken once you go to Windows 11. And I guess they'll be fixed someday. And I guess I'll wait to see whether there's any reason why I should go to SE when it comes out, but I'll leave that for later, as you say you're going to cover it.
I would say that most of the people on here don't use anything like VirtualBox. It's beyond us. I don't. I have in the past toyed with it with a cheat sheet that had every step that I had to do to work with it. I think that was in the testing, either Windows 10 or maybe Windows 8 or maybe even Windows 7. I created a VirtualBox but I followed the steps one by one, and it didn't work. So I didn't know what to do. And then somebody else filled in the errors that were in that original one. So most of us don't use things like that, And if you do, this introduction today is far lower than you would have. You're probably well past that anyway. Dick, you have your hand up.
Yes, I would suggest that in addition to what Bill James says, when he upgrades to Windows 11, if you don't decide to back up your C drive, I encourage you to have an inventory of all the applications that you have installed on your old Windows 10 system.
And Bob G has a good video that explains some software that does that and lists all of the software that's installed and what versions you have. And you also want to make sure that you have a list of your keys for each of those. So if you do have to reinstall, you have the key to be able to get to be able to install it. Steve Hall, you're next.
Yeah, obviously, many of us have computers that probably cannot be upgraded. In fact, this is for your record, Hewie. I had a Toshiba computer that when I first checked it, I think a couple of months ago, it indicated that my processor was okay. But now the little label that comes up whenever you do get your, your weekly, whatever, however often you get your downloads for upgrading, it now says that my computer is not ready for Windows 11. So there was a little bit of, there must be, other than the processor, there's other things, I guess, that you have to have on your computer before it's upgradable for Windows 11.
Yeah, Bob G, was it a Toshiba that you had the TPM that you had to turn something on to upgrade?
No, it was a Dell.
Oh, okay.
It was on a Dell, and they called the TPM something else than a TPM. And I have a video out on that. If you have a Dell and it says that you don't have a TPM chip, yes, you do.
Okay.
Tim, you have
just a note. I had to turn legacy boot off in order to get TPM to switch on, and it automatically switched on once I did that, and then I had no more problem.
Yeah, you need secure boot.
Yeah. Also, I think
on a compliance, you have to understand PC Health by Microsoft had problems in the early versions. They took it off the market per se, and now the current version correctly reflects what's upgradable and supported for 11 versus unsupported. You also have one CPU chip in generation 7. Otherwise, you have to have generation 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 generation CPU chips. And only about half of those actually have the necessary supported features. There's 2 of them in the CPU chip. But the cheap CPU chips cannot support those 2 features.
Also, I was going to say the AMD processors, TPM is branded under another name. I can't remember.
It works basically the same way on AMD. If you have the 1000 series chips, they're not supported. Under 2, 3, 4, and 5000 series AMD chips, only some of them have all the necessary features and the others do not. I have an AMD chip, 2200 series, that is not supported on 11. But there are chips in there. The TPM is built into the CPU chip rather than on the motherboard.
On the AMDs?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
And it's also in the newer Intel chips, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. It's built into the CPU chips, but you have to activate TPM through the BIOS.
And then you get the case where Microsoft simply screws up. I'm a Microsoft insider. I was waiting for my October update for Windows 10. And what do I wind up with? Windows 11. And when I look at the insider, it says my machine isn't ready for Windows 11, but it's been on Windows 11 for months and months, and I constantly get updates.
Well, that's true with me too, but Microsoft's official opinion on 11 on unsupported software, you are not entitled to updates on 11.
But we keep getting them.
Well, if you get them, count your blessings. If you don't get them, it's like running Windows XP or Windows 7, which are dead products.
But I didn't force the update. It was Microsoft that put that update on my computer. I was waiting for Windows 10 to update.
Yes, I'm an insider too, and I had 10 in June, and all of a sudden I had 11, and I haven't looked back.
Right.
For those of you who don't know, the Insider program is for those people who want to, instead of having the released version, you can get either, there are two steps. There's a beta group, and then there's the, what's the other one called?
Developer.
The developer version. So you can simply ask to be in that program, and then you can get items installed on your computer and test it before it's released to the public, which means it may or may not work. And that's what Bob G's on that program. And there are several others that are on my test machine. I have been, but when I go this week, when I push the switch and go ahead and go to Windows 11 on my main machine, it will be the released version only, and I will update that as it gets updated so that I will not be ahead of the program. So when I do continue, when we talk about Windows 11, and I will be talking about both Windows 10 and 11 on this Windows SIG, I am not going to make it a Windows 11 SIG. It will be still Windows SIG. So I will have a machine that will have Windows 10 on it as well. I have a laptop that does. So I will be able to discuss both.
10 isn't going anywhere. It's going to be there till October of 2025. So
there's going to be a lot of us
yep.
That'll have computers that'll be working until 2025 using Windows 10, and we don't have to get a new machine just to keep up with the Joneses. We can continue to use it. Marshall, you have your hand up.
Yes, will you let me put something on the screen, a share screen? Hang on. Well, I thought I was ready. There I am. 6 seconds and we're done. Bottom 2 lines.
My dentist says only floss the teeth you want to keep. I tell our users only back up the data you wish to keep. Good statement.
Thank you. I'm done.
All right. You can unmute, share.
There you go.
Okay. Okay. I do want to share my screen for just a moment before I finish up, and go there, and come back here. And the one item that we kind of touched on, and let me find it. The Windows, Microsoft announces Windows SE 11. Let's go to that page. This is from The Verge. There's a couple of statements in here that I think should be in here, as I recall. And let me get it out of full screen and turn on Morphic. There we go, and show the magnifier. And now I got it. Let's see here. Okay, Microsoft's created a new edition of Windows 11 designed for students and schools. It will ship exclusively on low-cost laptops that are built for K-8 classrooms, and it marks another attempt by Microsoft on Google's range of Chromebooks and their popularity in schools. What that means is you're not going to be able to, as an end user, go out and buy a computer that either has the SE or get SE and put it on a computer. It's only going to be on low-cost laptops that are built for classrooms. Let's see if there was something else in this here that explained it. Microsoft S11, Windows SE 11 takes a different approach to a Microsoft edition for schools, and it's a similar direction where Microsoft was originally heading with Windows 10X before its cancellation. Windows 10 SE will only be available on new low-cost devices and only for schools and education customers. While 11 SE is naturally optimized for Microsoft Edge, Office, and Microsoft cloud-based products, it's not restricted to the apps. So it also, Windows 11 SE also supports third-party apps, including Zoom and Chrome, because we had to want to give schools the choice to use what works best for them. Software's education marketing, Microsoft education marketing person said, IT admins will be in charge of what apps get installed, and devices can be managed to silently update outside of class time. So in other words, those of you who are thinking in terms of, well, this is going to be another choice that I can have on computers like Chrome, you're not going to be able to do it for a while. I would say probably down the road, this may be true, but it's only going to be available for schools and classrooms. So a lot of discussion on Windows 11 SE probably isn't needed. Anyone else before we end our session?
Any guesses on how long it'll take before SE also disappears?
Yeah, I would say not long, myself personally. I do want to say that thank you very much. We've had a very good spirited discussion today. This is the Central Florida Computer Society Windows Special Interest Group, or WinSIG, for Sunday, November 14th.